हेलो एंड वेलकम टू कॉम्पिटोलॉजी एकेडमी। और आज हम लोग बात करेंगे कि जो हमने क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करने हैं ज्योग्राफी एमसीक्यू डिस्कशन, दैट इज फॉर द ज्योग्राफी, फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी। एंड टुडे वी विल स्टार्ट विद द क्वेश्चन नंबर 33, दैट इज with reference to geothermal energy, consider the following statement. So first of all, the students must know about what is geothermal energy. So the geothermal energy is the energy that is coming out of the earth. Inside the earth there are various radioactive materials which go on decay, and due to that the heat energy is created inside the earth that leads to the heating of the water. Those are there in the aquifers, and when the water gets heated, that comes out through the vents or the fracture zones wherever they find it, and they come to the surface as a hot water, and that can be utilized in various ways to generate energy or to heat, etc. ठीक है. So here the geothermal power plants work on the closed circuit technology. So this is a correct statement, because the hot water that is coming out of the earth's surface, that is not so much of heat that it can turn the steam turbine, and that is why those liquids which are having lower latent heat of condensation and evaporation are used to run the closed circuit power plants to generate the electricity, and that is why the geothermal power plants work on the closed circuit technology, right? Next statement says that they are available in abundant in the tectonically active regions. So this is not a correct statement, because it is not so that the uranium or the radioactive materials are available only in the tectonically active region, but they are available everywhere. So wherever they will be in abundance, and they are going on decay and disintegration, and because of that they will release the heat energy. So it is not a correct statement, because the geothermal energy can be available anywhere under the surface of the earth wherever there is availability of the nuclear material, right? Next is, they can be used for both heating and cooling purpose. This is again a false statement, because these can be used for the heating purpose only, but not for the cooling purpose. So this statement is again not correct, and here the question asks that which of the statements given above is or are correct. So clearly you can understand which of the statements could be here correct. That is only one, that the geothermal power plants work on the closed circuit technology, right? Now come to the next question. So here go through the question, that is, which of the following statements are correct with respect to climate feedback mechanism? So here the keyword is climate feedback mechanism. So what does it mean? What is a feedback mechanism? Many of the students might be knowing about what is a feedback mechanism. So basically, if there is a system, right, and here in the system there is input, there is output. So a feedback mechanism is a mechanism where the feedback is derived from the output and given to the input, and accordingly the input changes for the system, and thereafter the output will change. And this system is also followed in the climatic conditions, right? So here what happens, the statement says that it works as both positive as well as negative feedback system, right? It is a correct statement, because if there will be higher amount of release of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, then what will happen? there will be a positive feedback, and due to that what will happen, there will be increased input, and that will lead to the increase in the temperature in the atmosphere. However, if there will be higher amount of output of aerosols in the atmosphere, then what will happen? There will be negative feedback because the insolation will be reduced due to albedo. And due to this negative feedback, again, what will happen? There will be decrease in temperature, right? So in this way, the climatic system works in both negative and the positive feedback way, right? And next is, the climate engineering is a process of induced feedback system. This is again a correct statement, because in the climate engineering, what is done? Various aerosols are sprayed in the atmosphere to increase the albedo, to reduce the insolation on the surface of the earth, and through that it is attempted to reduce the effect of climate change and reduce the greenhouse gases effect. And this is a climate engineering. And what they are doing, they are inducing the feedback system in the climatic system, and this is the way they are trying to reduce the effect of climate change. So here the question says that select the correct answer using the codes given below. So both the statements are correct. So here the answer will be C, that is both 1 and 2. Now come to the next question. So here go through the question, that is, consider the following statement with respect to basic habitat. So again, it is a question related to environment and ecological, if we say it specifically, and the keyword is basic habitat. So here the specific knowledge about the basic habitat is needed, and if you don't know about the basic habitat, then you will be not in position to answer this question. So here nobody is answering the question, no issues. So here it says that the first statement is, it is a type of habitat with a moderate or well balanced supply of moisture. So basically a basic habitat is a habitat which is a transition zone between the xeric habitat and between the high altitude montane type habitat. So here what happens, there is just adequate or less than adequate or slightly less than adequate amount of moisture availability. What we say that in the condition of hardwood shrubs type or grassland type of prairie grassland type of vegetation, right? So here the first statement is a correct statement. Next is, these habitats effectively provide the drought insurance as the land at the higher elevation warms due to the seasonal or other changes. Again, this is a correct statement, because at the higher latitude what happens, higher elevation, what will happen, there will be higher rate of insolation, and due to that there will be higher rate of evapotranspiration, losses of the moisture, and due to this what will happen, there will be loss of moisture. But in the case of basic habitat, the seasonal changes will buffer such kind of changes, and there will be a kind of insurance to protect them from the drought like condition, right? So here again the question says that select the correct answer using the codes given below. So here both 1 and 2 are the correct answers, right? Now the next question here, consider the following statement regarding biodilution. So the keyword is biodilution, and what does biodilution means? So the biodilution is the process in which the pollutants are diluted from the polluted region to some kind of organism or vegetation or whatever it is, through whatever method it will be possible to reduce the concentration of the pollutants in that particular region or ecosystem. This is the process of biodilution. So the question says that it is the decrease in the concentration, the same keyword have appeared here, of the pollutants with an increase in the trophic level. So here what says that as soon as the number of trophic level will increase, then there will be reduce in the amount of concentration of pollutant in the organism. So it is just the reversal of bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation happens in the persistently increasing pollutants. Those are the pollutants which are able to get dissolved in the fatty acids of the organisms or the animals, right? And here what happens, these are the pollutants which are not capable of getting dissolved or getting soluble in the fatty acids of the organism, and because of this what will happen, there will be dilution of these pollutants. So what happens during the algal bloom, next statement says that there is an increase in the algal biomass reduces the concentration of the pollutant in the organisms at the higher trophic level. This is correct because during the algal bloom what happens, the same amount of pollutant is getting distributed between very high number of quantity of the algae, and whenever the higher trophic level organism will eat that algae, then each of the algae is having less amount of the pollutant concentrated in them, and because of this there will be reduction of amount of pollutant that is getting transferred to the higher trophic level organisms, and in this way it will dilute the concentration of the pollutants. Next is, it is also referred to as the bloom dilution. So it is happening because of the algal bloom, and because of that this is known as bloom dilution, right? Because the algal bloom is reducing the amount of pollutant that is getting concentrated in each of the algae, right? So here the question says that which of the statements given above is or are correct. So here the option, the answer will be option A, that is all of the three, 1, 2 and 3. Next question is, with the start of spring season, now the spring is going to come, right? So it is quite a practical question, and the student should be able to answer it without reading any of the book, बिकॉज कुछ चीजें जो होती है लाइफ में प्रैक्टिकली सीखनी पड़ती हैं, ठीक है? अगर आप सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी कर रहे हो, इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर द सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशंस, देन यू कैन नॉट गो ऑलवेज बाय द बुक. हर एक कंडीशन के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए, वहां पर उस चीज को, सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट अ सेट थ्योरी, अ सेट way of steps to be taken so that you will come out of that situation, you will bring the people, the common masses out of that situation. You have to be practical, you have to be creative, you have to be analytical, and that is why यूपीएससी में भी आपको ऐसे क्वेश्चन बहुत सारे मिलेंगे, या स्टेट सिविल सर्विसेज में भी, जो कि आपको कॉमन सेंस से, प्रैक्टिकल एनालिटिकल माइंड से क्वेश्चंस के आंसर देने हैं. हर एक चीज बुक बाय बुक नहीं जा सकते हैं, तो कुछ बुक की भी जरूरत है, कुछ अपनी दिमाग की एप्लीकेबिलिटी की भी जरूरत है, राइट? और इसीलिए यहाँ पे आप लोगों को बार बार क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने की प्रैक्टिस करनी होगी, डिफरेंट कोचिंग्स के, डिफरेंट सोर्सेज के, डिफरेंट बुक्स के, जितने क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, गो ऑन टू सॉल्व मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. तो उसके क्या होगी कि आपकी एक तो आंसर करने की स्किल बढ़ेगी, एनालिटिकल स्किल बढ़ेगी, सोचने की ताकत बढ़ेगी, ठीक है? तो इसीलिए यहाँ पे ये क्वेश्चन देखिए और ध्यान दीजिए कि क्या इसमें पूछ रहा है, ठीक है? व्हाट द क्वेश्चन सेज, विद द स्टार्ट ऑफ द स्प्रिंग सीजन द लेवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, कीवर्ड स्प्रिंग सीजन एंड ऑक्सीजन, हाउ दे आर रिलेटेड, ठीक है? इन द एटमॉस्फेयर स्टार्ट्स टू फॉल. तो अभी कुछ दिनों में क्या होगी, व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन, देयर विल बी रिडक्शन इन द लेवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन दैट इज अवेलेबल इन द एटमॉस्फेयर, राइट. Which of the following is the reason for this phenomena? What are the causes? What are the reasons? Why there will be a reduction of the availability, amount of availability of the oxygen in the atmosphere? Why it will happen? So the first option says that due to the increase in the temperature as the sun moves northward. This is not a correct answer, right. Next, as the trees shed the leaves, the process of photosynthesis slows down. So this is the correct answer, right. As the spring approaches, there will be shedding of the leaves by the deciduous trees, and in India most of the forests are deciduous type of forests, and during this period what will happen, they will shed the trees, they will pale out, and thereafter they will fall. And due to this, what will happen, if there is no leaf, then there is no chlorophyll, there is no photosynthesis process, and the source of the oxygen that is getting added to the atmosphere is the process of photosynthesis. And as there will be reduction in the photosynthesis in the nature, there will be fall in the amount of oxygen that is available in the atmosphere. So it is a quite practical type of question. How to answer this question, that is quite simple and practical. You can clearly analyze from the options that is provided in the question, right. So there is no need to go through the rest of the options. If however, if you want to be double confirmed, then go through it. None of the above will be not clearly there. The third option says that amount of humidity increases in the atmosphere, which leads to the reduced amount of oxygen. So this is not possible at all, because when there is increase in temperature, then there will be reduction of availability of the humidity in the atmosphere, because as the temperature increases, the water carrying capacity of the atmosphere, the air increases. So the saturation level, the level at which the air gets saturated, that will be also higher, and that is why there will be less amount of humidity that will be available in the atmosphere. So this is not going to be the situation at all, and that is why the option C cannot be the answer. So only we are left with the option B. So this is the way how to approach the practical common sense questions, right. What you are going to face in day to day life, those type of questions will also be there in the paper. And most of the students do what, they don't practice such kind of questions, they go only through the books, and that is why in such kind of questions they find it quite familiar to them, but they are not applying the analytical mind, and that is why they are committing the mistake and accruing the negative marks. And that is just because of lack of practice, nothing else. Nothing was needed to be read for that question, only the practice was needed, right. And last but not the least, I would like to inform you all that the general studies foundation course for the civil services 2023 exam has been announced by the Computology IAS Academy, and that is going to start on 23rd of March 2022. This will be a holistic batch which will cover the prelims comes mains syllabus. So the whole syllabus will be covered over here, and here personal mentoring will also be provided. And for the further details, you can get in touch with us on this mobile number and the WhatsApp number. You can also call on our landline number, and the mail ID is provided in the description below. You can also place your queries over there, we will reply you accordingly. And do follow us on our social media channels, that is Facebook and Instagram, as well as we are having the Telegram channel, from where you can get the practice questions, various PDF materials, etc. And for further details and the detailed syllabus and the schedule of the course, and other things, and to take the live tests, etc., you can visit our website and do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.